Hey, I'm Brandon Faircloth, and I'm running for Superior Court Judge of the Dublin Judicial Circuit. Now, the Dublin Judicial Circuit is made up of 4 different counties: Lawrence County, Johnson County, Trutland County, and Twiggs County. Towards the end of the video, I am going to ask that you vote for me for judge on May 21st. But before I do that, I think it's only fair that I tell you more about myself. Some of you already know me, or you've seen me in court. But for those of you that hadn't, this video is meant to give you a little bit more idea of my educational background, my work experience, and also who I am as a person. So to start off, I graduated from high school from Trinity Christian School in 1995. After that, I went to Mercer University, where I graduated with a degree in 1999, both in English and psychology. Now, while I was at Mercer University, I actually got to go to Oxford University. And so the last 6 months of my senior year were spent in England studying there. And it was great. It's the first time I'd ever been away from home. It was the first time I'd certainly ever lived in another country by myself. And it was a wonderful experience. But it also meant that because of how their schedule is, I wasn't back from England before the college graduation happened. So I didn't get to go to my college graduation. And then when I did come back, I pretty much immediately went into law school at Mercer University Law School. While I was at Mercer University Law School, I interned both at the Houston County DA's office and our DA's office here. And then when I graduated in 2002, I wanted to get a job here, but there wasn't an opening at the time. So I wound up going to the Newton County DA's office up in Covington. And it was a great experience. I worked there for about 2.5 years. I got promoted to the drug prosecutor for Newton County, so I was handling all of the felony drug cases there. And it gave me a lot of time in court, and it was a lot of experience. But as I did it, I also wondered, I've never tried civil law. I've never really done anything in civil law. And, will I enjoy that more? I need to know about that more. And so I felt like I needed to try it and just see how I like that. And so I went to a law firm called Cassan Lay that does workers' compensation up in Alpharetta, Georgia. And that's all that they do. And the senior partner there actually writes one of the lead books on workers' compensation in Georgia. And I actually worked on that book for him while I was there. So I learned a ton about workers' compensation, a lot about civil law in general. But I also learned that I kind of like civil less than I did criminal to some extent. Not that it's not great and it's be interesting, but it is a little bit more money oriented a lot of times. I missed helping people on a daily basis. And so when Craig Fraser, the DA here, called me in 2006 to come back home and work for him, I jumped at the chance. I came back. I've been working there ever since. I've gotten promoted to be the Chief Assistant District Attorney years ago. I'm still in that role now. And working at the DA's office here for the last 18 years, it's just been a great experience. Partially because you do get to help people just every day. You get to see people, meet new people, and help people a lot of times. You get so much courtroom experience because you're constantly in court, you're constantly trying cases. Handled thousands of cases, and I've tried close to 200 and probably close to 24 murder cases. I've argued before the Georgia Court of Appeals multiple times. I've had cases with the Georgia Supreme Court multiple times. And some of those cases you're writing briefs, some of those you're actually going up and doing oral argument. And it's entirely different than your day-to-day court. But it's also a very important part of the judicial system that some people don't realize and don't see as much. Just the wealth of experience that you get, it makes you a much better lawyer. It makes you a lot more confident in what you're doing, and it puts you in a better position to do more. And that's something that, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate more and more, is that helping our community, doing just like a small piece of keeping our homes safer, means so much. And part of that is the will to do it. Part of that is knowing how. And as time has gone on, and just in the last year or two, I felt more and more like part of that for me was running for judge. I've never really thought about running for judge before that, not seriously. I'm not a political person. I'm not knocking somebody who likes politics, but I don't. And obviously, I'm going to be asking for you to vote for me. This is a political job, just like anything where you get elected. But this is not a stepping stone for me where I want to get this job and then move somewhere else. This is where I'm going to be. This is my home. And this is where I want to help people and help make it safe and take the experience and the knowledge that I have to make our home better and to make our court system better. And I don't come into this with some expectation that I just deserve it or I'm entitled to it. I don't come from a rich family or a family full of lawyers or a family full of doctors or just a bunch of family telling me, oh, you should just get it. I've got a small family, and my grandfather was a welder. He had a welding shop, and then he had a store at a flea market. My mother is a school teacher. She's retired now, but she taught first grade for years, both at Northwest Lawrence Elementary and at Tweeds Academy. And I couldn't be prouder of my family. I couldn't be more grateful for my family. And part of that is because they did teach me I'm not entitled to anything. That if I'm going to get something, I have to work for it. And if I'm going to try to get something, I need to be trying to get it for the right reasons. The reason I went to Mercer University is because I got scholarship. I'm not bragging about it. It's just I wouldn't have had the money to go otherwise. The reason I went to Mercer Law School is because I got a scholarship. The reason I went to Oxford University is because I got a scholarship. I've worked my entire life and never expected to be given anything. And I'm always grateful for everything I get. And I certainly don't claim that everything that I've done or tried to do is all me, because it's not. People at the DA's office, my friends, my family, I couldn't do any of the things that I've done to whatever extent I've done something good without all of them and without God. And I thank God for all of my blessings and for my family and my friends and for my community. And part of how I try to pay that back is by what I do and by how I do it. If you talk to anybody who does know me, I'm pretty sure that they'll tell you that I'm honest, that I'm always honest to a fault, if anything, that I'm always fair. That's one of the things that I was taught growing up, and that's something that I've always applied is don't lie and you treat everybody the same. I don't care how much money you've got. I don't care old, young, what you look like. Everybody deserves respect. Everybody deserves fairness. Everybody deserves justice when they're in a courtroom. I've had horrible defendants that I knew were terrible people and done terrible things that I was prosecuting and tried to send to prison. I still treated them with respect and made sure that they got a fair trial and their rights were respected just as much as everybody else's, because it has to work that way. And that's a system that I understand and that I respect and that I love. And it's that level of care and knowledge that's necessary to make sure that it runs right. Not just some of the time, and not just for some of the people, but for everybody, every time. So I say all that to say this. I do feel like I'm definitely the most experienced and qualified candidate for judge. I know that I will do my best, and I'm not saying I'll never make a mistake. But I am saying that I will give it my all, that I will continue to dedicate myself to this community. And I hope that this has given you a little bit more insight as to who I am and why I'm running for judge. And now I do ask you to vote for me on May 21st. Bear in mind, that is a weird election date in the fact that we've already had presidential primary, and you're going to have the main election for a lot of stuff in November. But our only election, unless there's a runoff, is going to be on May 21st. So I ask you, please, mark it on your calendar, put it into your phone. If you have more questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. You can call me, you can text me, you can go to my website and get both my phone number to call or text me, my email, my Facebook, multiple ways to contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions you've got. I can't talk about a specific case or anything. I certainly can't tell you how I would rule on something that hadn't happened yet, but I'm happy to answer any questions I can answer, whether it's about the law or about me, to give you a better insight as to who I am or how I would be as a judge. Thank you so much for your time. I know your time is valuable. I probably will have more videos over time. It'll be about different topics. They won't be like this necessarily, but and I welcome you to follow the page, follow the YouTube. This is going to go up on the Facebook page, and I'll try to make sure there's always notifications when I do post a new video. If you want a sign, I've got big signs and little signs, and you're welcome to get one. I'll be glad to bring you one. I'm going to start rolling those out more in the coming weeks. I've got some ready already, and I'm happy to give you one if you would like one. But again, the main thing is I'm not asking for donations. I'm not taking donations. I'm using my own money that I've saved over time for this campaign. I'm not taking a penny from anybody. Again, I'm not knocking people who do. But I feel like if I'm going to run for judge and I'm going to ask for your vote, I need to be willing to put my own money forward. I need to be willing to say, I don't owe anybody anything. I'm going to be fair to everybody. And you don't have to worry if I'm judging something that you're involved in, that you're going to get anything, the honesty and fair, my best effort to follow the law and do what's right. So I say all of that to say thank you. Please vote for me. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to ask me. And maybe I'll see you in the next video.